has put the entire world on hold. A virus, a crashed economy, and having all extracurricular activities or distractions come to a halt caused by the pause of a lifetime. Many people like it because they've been working too hard and realized they needed a break, a pause. However, after months, this many people are bored with it. After a few months pause, people are now missing the old distractions, the shopping, watching sporting events, going to the bars, the movie theaters, going to concerts, and weekend events, vacations, and flying somewhere on a whim and doing whatever they want whenever they want. Um, Ray, your notes are going to be off. They were from last week. So get this out. Let me help Ray out for a minute.
Pause button, right?
Here, Ray. Yeah, you need to flip it over and adjust your brain.
Yeah, I got
Ray,
the right notes. Pause button.
oh, you do have the right notes.
See?
How did I get those notes backwards? Okay. Anyway, we were working on a lot of stuff over here, and Ray's got his act together. I'm the one that's all over the place.
I know, see?
So, but you have this one, Ray?
Pause. I do.
Let me see what you have. You do not.
No, that's next week's. Okay, but I got the right notes.
Oh, you have the right notes. Okay, well, you're on your game. Okay, sorry for the misunderstanding, everybody, and I'm going to move through this. Okay, and I talked about how this works. This is Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. I don't always read the whole thing to you guys. I only read a few excerpts out of the insight. But the way I concluded this is before this pause button got pushed, you were always being pressured to do more of the same with less personal meaning in what it was that you were doing. Having less meaning in what you were doing is what wore you down. Until this pause button happened, you didn't know how to stop the vicious cycle of never having enough. It was never about having more. It was about being more so you could make a difference. That's really what this is all about. That's really what we all come into this life intending to achieve, is doing more, becoming something, making a difference, performing on what we came here to do. Leaving this world and not doing that, you will leave with regrets. And that's the worst way to leave this life, all right? Because you guys, this life is not all there is. It's pretty far from all there is. This is just when we move on from all this and we're released from this life, we just get in another car. John Lennon said that, in another car, and keep on going, all right? Except it's actually easier. This is a tough gig you signed up for here on the planet. But you're coming into the most important part of your mission in this life right now. So don't look at it like it's, hard or it's inconvenient or you're scared. Don't waste it on that. Just find out what's going on. Do your own research. Write in your journal so you can become conscious of what's really happening and step out of the drama and the trauma that pulls you in and takes your power away. That is not why you're here. That would be missing the whole point. And believe me, you've spent many, many lifetimes missing it. This could be the first one that you don't. All right? That's what I'm here to help you with. Okay, Ray, what do we have, Ray?
Well, you will be happy to know that it is streaming on your Facebook page, your Facebook timeline, and YouTube. They're all working.
They are, Ray. Okay.
We've been having some issues.
We've been trying, running the show here. It's good. We're not complaining. All right.
Well, we had a comment
Yeah.
from Melanie. Melanie said about today's guided insight. What about those of us that weren't chosen to be a part of this pause? Nothing in my life has really changed. I was required to go to work, same way she always did. Be a parent, same way she always did, as her boys were all homeschooled anyway. That was good. And she was always taught to have at least a year's worth of food in the house stored away in case there was a problem. And this pause was meant for my youngest brother for sure. I guess he's not a planner like she is.
Right.
But what is the message for those of us that there's no pause for?
Okay. But there's some kind of pause. All right. I mean, even with Ray and I, we've done the same things very similar to what you've done. And we still have some pauses going on. We still, think twice before we do some things that we just used to do without thinking about it. All right. So there still are some pauses. Ray, when you're ready, we're going to have the guides answer her. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to see what the guides have to say about that. For those of you who think that you've gotten everything worked out, you don't really have anything to do, you're just gliding through this thing. We're going to let the guides, and Ray and I, and what's her name? Melanie. Largely we've done things that need to be done. But what about the rest of it? What is it we can't anticipate? How is it that guidance helps us through that part that we can't anticipate and know that's coming? And here they go. What is it we can't see is what I'm asking.
Melanie, you've done so many things to prepare for these times that others didn't think of. It came to you as guidance long before these last few months. You didn't have such a radical change in your lifestyle, only some adjustments. Where you could go, where you couldn't go, where you had to wear a mask, and how often you could do something that you used to do all the time. A lot of your extracurricular activities that were fun were all shut down, which gave you more time at home. This will be a time when you look back that you will see just how much you learned during this time.
So what about the ones that are prepared or feel like they're prepared? Is there something lurking out in the near future that even we who are prepared don't see coming?
The people who have been prepared, especially with food and water and supplies, used to be called preppers and conspiracy theorists about the Armageddon coming. Now they look pretty smart, and their neighbors are asking them what they need to go out and stock up on.
What can't we see that's coming? Even us who are prepared. I'm back to that question.
More of the same. A lockdown, a reopening, another lockdown, another reopening. It will be like a tug of war trying to get the economy back on track.
How is that getting the economy back on track? That doesn't sound like that makes any sense.
In order to get the economy back on track, it has to stay open, and people need to stop playing with people's fears.
So, what's the universal message, the higher meaning in all that's going on regarding this global pause button?
That people should stop looking at all the new cases and all the new deaths and look at all the people who got the virus and survived without a vaccine.
Yeah, we know that, but what's the universal message here? That's just the fact in this world. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking about the universal message here.
That you should always be prepared for what you think is coming and what you think may be coming.
Okay, so just be ready, be prepared. All of you, okay, for those of you who are not prepared or don't feel quite prepared, get prepared, all right?
Yeah, so you don't get caught again. I mean,
Yeah.
When it first started and the grocery stores were out of everything besides toilet paper and all kinds of food, that wasn't because people were hoarding all that kind of food. It was because 70 million Americans weren't working anymore and weren't eating at downtown on their lunch and weren't, eating out for lunch and grabbing.
They weren't eating at restaurants.
They weren't eating at
So
restaurants.
they flooded the grocery stores.
That's exactly right.
And the supply chain
Dried up.
Yeah, was
Strained.
couldn't handle that. Yeah.
70 million new customers like that overnight.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So what do you have there, Ray?
Well, pause. I think that's an interesting word. People pause for different reasons. Let's talk about how do you pause first. You stop and reflect. That's basically what it means. You pause for enough time to stop and reflect, to take a break, take a walk, take a bath, take a yoga class,
take a breath.
Take a breath. Okay, it's time to recharge. It's time to better understand what your beliefs already are, and learn some new things.
It's time to examine what you thought was true.
Right.
It's time to become quiet enough, still enough, present, so you can become conscious. That means aware. Okay, aware. And when you become aware, you become accessible to guidance. Guidance just flows through you. That's the way guidance works, you guys. It's always flowing through you. But many times we're in the way, or we say, oh, it's not convenient right now, or I got to go somewhere, or no, I got dinner with so-and-so. I've got to go. And all that's been interrupted. The pause button, the global pause button, so that you could begin to collect yourself, like what Ray's talking about here.
It's a time to better understand yourself. It's giving you time to take a look at yourself that you didn't have before. One thing I ran across, it said, you need to replace the busyness of your life with conscious awareness.
That's what happened. Before this happened, everybody was going long, busy, overwhelmed, over committed, never had enough time for anything, especially yourself. All right. You came last on every front. So this has been hard for people because they're not used to confronting this. Okay. They're not used to having this pause and this time out to finally catch your breath. It's never happened in your lifetime. That's what's amazing about it. The only way this could have happened in your lifetime is if you deliberately took time out. By the way, I talk about that in Guided. I took 6 years off in my late 40s into my 50s. I took 6 years off. All I did before that was work. I had so many businesses I was doing. I was always had a business going, and I was always working. Okay. I was running from stuff, you guys. I didn't want to look at some stuff. So the harder I worked, the more I didn't have to look at it, all right, or deal with it or face it, or, it made it easier to tolerate nonsense. Like when I went home to a husband at the time, um, before I married Ray, that was miserable. He was horrible. And I hated coming home. So I worked even harder to get away from it. Okay. And I talk about that. But boy, after that 6 years I took off, I gave myself my own pause button. I pulled out. And for the first time since I started working at 19 years old, actually I started working like 18, 17 and a half, 19 years old. The first time ever that I stopped and I gave myself back. I stopped, I paused, I had fun, I played. I did all the things I felt guilty about doing until I stopped feeling guilty about it. What was that about? And I healed a lot of stuff that was waiting to be healed. Okay. That's what the global pause button is about. It's about, I took my pause button. You guys were forced into yours.
Right.
Okay. That's what makes this one different. But universally, there's, for whatever political reasons, whatever reasons this is really happening, who knows, and all the things they talk about, the universal consciousness, the universal intention here is to get humanity to pause and to reevaluate. I can tell you from doing it for 6 years. Here's something I found out from doing it. I'm 60, I'll be 68 next month. Whoa.
You're going to be 68 next month.
68 next month. And you know what? I have no desire to retire at all. I can't even understand the word. I'm so busy with everything that Ray and I are doing in this project, no time to think about retiring. And I had my fun. I took my 6 years and I played and all that. And I said, man, when I got near the end of it, I just went, boy, this is getting boring. How many times can I go ice skating? I mean, I really got good at ice skating, right?
You used to ice skate what? Twice a day?
Yeah,
Every day?
Yeah. And I went out, I learned how to dance. I learned how to salsa dance, and I played, and I took really good care of myself, and I slept a lot, and I did everything to catch up to myself. And I have all this energy now, and I'm all this great feeling about what I'm doing and helping people. The last thing I want to do is retire. I want nothing to do with it. All right. So when you're doing what you love, what you are meant to do, okay, when you pull in this global pause time we're in, when you take this time to learn about who you are and what you came here to do, the difference you intended to make, the difference I intended to make, you guys, none of this will seem like it happened to you. You'll realize it all happened for you. This happened for you. So you could take that breath just long enough to realize what that is for you. Okay? For you. If you're on the planet right now, if you're alive in this world, you are an important part of this that's going forward. Okay? We're going to see heavy duty stuff going down in the next 10 years. Heavy duty. It's going to be, you will not recognize the world that we've been living in. You decided to be part of this. So figure out what that is.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Those 6 years that you took off, I mean, all you did was work from the time you were like 17 and a half, worked like a maniac.
Oh, man.
And never stopped. And
under great pressure.
Under huge pressure. And then you took, all of a sudden, it was like a red light. 6 years, and it was a 6-year long red light to stop doing it before you hurt yourself, basically.
Pretty much. That's really true.
So
they told me that. They told me that I was going to get sick. Something was going to happen to me if I didn't pull back, but I didn't know how to do it. All right. I talk about how it actually happened and guided what stopped me.
Okay. So my question is, during those 6 years, what was the one thing that struck you most that you learned about yourself? how were you different in those 6 years from what you ever were from the time you were born?
Yeah, that I would, if I was to say what it was, that I didn't take time to love myself.
Mhm.
I was so busy pretty much running from what happened to me as a child and pushing it off and not wanting to really look at it and not wanting to, I remembered it all, but man, I was so done with it. I was so sick of it. It really hurt me. And I came out of it in spades. I mean, my life has been great. I've had one success after another, but I worked a lot, okay, to have that. And I never took time for myself. I was so careful. I had to say this. I only ever depended on me to take care of me. I could never trust anyone else to do that for me. Never. I never trusted anyone with that. So I had to learn to lighten up on that. I had to learn how to release the shock and awe that set my life into motion. It launched me. I became a phenomenal success at everything I did, but I was still damaged in here. Okay. Nobody knew it. I wrote Guided when Guided was published in 2014. People that knew me for 20, 30 years said, I can't believe I can't believe it. I didn't know you, Linda. I never told anybody. I wouldn't dare tell anybody until I wrote this book. And this book is a tell-all. This book tells the truth about what I went through and the metamorphosis that I experienced coming out, layer by layer, coming out as I was guided through it, okay? And when I moved through that, taking those 6 years off was hard for me. People would look at me and go, well, but don't you have it hard? You get to play every day. You don't have to worry about anything. I was like, you have no idea. I wouldn't even talk to them about it. They had no idea how hard that was for me to stop my life, okay? And not focus on, overprotecting myself by making more money. So I didn't have to depend on anybody else. That was my thing. Okay.
What was a time you really did place the business of your life, which had been your life for 5 decades, with conscious awareness?
Oh, I was aware.
Taking care of yourself. You were always aware.
Always.
But it was time to take care of yourself.
I had to stop the momentum of going out and finding a way to busy myself back up again with another project, with another business, with another commitment that would take up years and years of my life. All right. That I would throw everything I had going into it. And not having a balanced life. That's what was wrong with my life. Is I had all this going for me, but I didn't have the other side where I had my life in balance, where it made some sense. And my guides warned me. I talk about it in Guided. In fact, I flat out got sick and couldn't even move for 6 months. That's how they stopped me. And I was like, it gave me enough time to stop, there's that pause, to get my wits about me, to reflect, to breathe into it, to be okay with it, and not be frightened for my well-being, because I couldn't rely on anybody else. Everyone always let me down throughout my life. I took care of myself, okay? They were in my life because I was doing well, all right? Not because they, on their own, they never would have gotten into any of the things I did. Not ever.
Well, I didn't want to work that hard. They even told you that.
Yeah, that is right.
I don't want to work that hard.
So it's about getting balance back in our lives, you guys. This global pause button that you've experienced, that you're still in, is designed to bring you back into balance. Your life was going like this, and you couldn't think straight. You didn't have time for yourself. You couldn't do. It's exactly what I explained about my life. Not so different. And it's given you that time to, I'm going to pull something out here. I've got the 2 books for the guided journal writing system. The guided journal writing system consists of my guided journey, and my journal writing. This is the system, and I teach this, okay? It's called training. Linda Deer training. You'll see it on my website. And I actually teach you how to use these books to bring your life back into balance, to bring you back into consciousness. I do one-on-one training with you, and it's a month program for each one of these books to get this global pause button to work in your favor, to move the direction, to speed up the process of becoming conscious. And the next step, the next process is to course correct. Believe me, you have course corrections to make.
It was interesting in a lot of the articles I read today, especially a lot of the psychological, there was a lot of writing articles about pausing and speaking articles about pausing, what the pauses speaking when you write, why they're so important. Psychological orders were articles were the best, and they all mentioned the same thing. It gives you time to start noticing what's going on around you, writing it down and reflecting on it. Writing things down came up over and over and over again.
It is so important. And I walk you through this course that I have, 2 different versions of it. Consciousness training and course correction training. But you can't course correct until you're aware of what you've been doing. And I can't tell you what you've been doing. I walk you right into it. You write down in your journal for a week. I get together with you once a week on Zoom, just like this. And I look at your writings and I break it down. I look under the hood and explain to you what it's really telling you, where it's guiding you to go. I see through the writings. I see what you can't, is basically what I'm saying.
And a lot of it comes through your dreams too.
Yeah, it comes through dreams. It comes through just anything you write in your journal. There's a reason you're writing it down, and it all ties together in that week. And I take it and I break it down so that you can become conscious, and then you can ask yourself, how does that feel? And when you realize how that whole thing makes you feel, only then will you see what you do realize from it. Only then can you realize anything from it. And when you realize what that is, only then will you have the power to take any action around it. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways that all this information that you write down comes to you. I mean, most of the people don't know that you're kind of the dream expert on Quora.
Right.
You've been doing dream interpretation since you were 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And every day you get how many dreams from Quora? People asking.
50.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I get slammed with them,
but you can't answer all of them. I mean, that's all you'd be doing. But a lot of this guidance comes through your dreams, and people just kind of blow their dreams off. Oh, it was just a dream. It was crazy. Yeah, it didn't mean anything. But I've learned enough from you about dreams over the years that I get a lot of my guidance through my dreams.
You do.
Yeah.
You definitely do. Everybody does. Ray's not unique. Every person does. And if you don't remember your dreams, you write down you were driving somewhere and just something came through. You were getting out of the shower and all of a sudden you realized something. You were washing your hands at the sink and you realized something. Or
heard a song.
Yeah, or all those unusual and out of the ordinary things. Write those down in your journal. This is the part 3. This is my journal writing. Write it down as a journal entry. And each time you do it, when I go through this with you, this is the first course. This is consciousness training with Linda. When I take you through this for a month and walk you through this every week and spend that time with you, by the time we're done, you're going to know how to do this for yourself. That's why this is so good.
Yeah, this is new. This has been I think you put this up a couple of weeks ago, but
But it's not new. I've been doing this with people forever.
right, and it's much more difficult to get it in a group setting. But the people who've already signed up for it already have watched you go through there with them, and they're just stunned.
It's a one-on-one session with me, just you and me.
And they're just amazed at how it was there all the time and they didn't see it.
It's on my website, lindadeer.com. You'll see training. Click on it. That's where you want to go first. And it does include these books. You get these books as they are included with the training, because you have to have these books to do it. All right. These books were written just for this. And by the way, these books were part 2 and 3 of the guided journal writing system were published in 2018. I've been working with people that have the books, just kind of surface in a surface way, working with them, and they're working with them, but they're not really, they need the extra help. That's why I created the training courses. Now that I've got the training courses, people are signing up for it. Now they're getting that extra help they need, so they can, on their own, when we're done, be able to do this for themselves easily. Okay.
Right. Some of the people are making comments, no questions, but comments.
Okay.
They've had pretty much the same experience through their life. They worked and worked and worked, and they got sick and were forced into a pause.
Oh.
And it was great.
I know.
And it changed their life. It took their life a different direction.
That's right.
And it's, getting back to the two most important things of all the articles I saw is that you have to replace your busyness, what you were distracted by all the time, consumed by all these distractions. A distraction.
Life running you instead of you running your life.
And all those distractions were pressing your doubt and fear buttons about your life.
Yeah.
And then stop being a stuff manager. I like that one. There was an article called Stop Being a Stuff Manager.
Stuff.
Managing all the stuff in your life that you don't have any time for your life.
How many of us have experienced that one? A lot of us. The guides have been talking for years about in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. Linda's Weekly Guided Insights we've been doing these since 2014. Okay. So that's 6 years as of May of this year that we've been doing these every single week. We've never missed a week. And what were you just saying there about? Refresh my.
Well, people are
stuff. The guides have been talking about stuff is nothing more than temporary pleasure. Stuff is running your life. Get rid of the stuff. Get your life back down to something that's manageable. Imagine this, just think about this. When you were in your late teens, when you went out on your own, I don't know if you went to college or if you started going to work or whatever you did, your life was pretty stuffless. You did not have a lot of stuff. You had what you needed. In fact, when you had to move, you could pretty much move with what you pushed into your car.
You could move everything in a Honda Civic.
Pretty much. That was pretty simple, you guys. You know what? You were really happy then. Like you had time for yourself. Remember that?
Yeah.
This is about getting back your life back.
Well, you stop and think about those two major times in your life. At 19 years old, when you started working for yourself, having your own businesses, and when you took 6 years off at the end of that 6 years, how old were you? Almost 52.
That's a big pivotal point in
Both
your
of
life.
them.
Yeah. 19 and 52. What's interesting, I was born in 1952.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
And I was 52 years old when I interrupted your 6 years of fun.
He didn't interrupt it. I was ready by then, but it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't ready, right, you guys? It's guidance. It's all guidance. And this thing with the global pause button that's going on is guidance. It's given humanity an opportunity. I want to say this to you too. It's giving you an opportunity to do your own research. Have you been doing your own research? Answer me on the feed. Have you guys been doing your own research? Have you been taking the time you never had before to sit down at your computer and start looking around and seeing what's really going on, looking under the hood. And I'm not talking about becoming a conspiracy theorist or, any of that. I'm just talking about looking for the truth.
Yeah, you should be looking for alternative news sources other than the news, the mainstream news that every station in the world reports the same stories the same way.
Yeah, the stuff you fell asleep on because you were too tired, because
Right.
you were working all the time and busied up your life. Now that you have time to, instead of it being broadcasted to you,
Programmed
now,
into you.
yeah, now you have time to narrowcast it. Narrowcasting is different than broadcasting.
Right.
Broadcasting shouts at you. It feeds it to you. It gives it to you in when you're unconscious, when you're wiped out, tired, and you're watching the news and you're like, I got to get up tomorrow. Okay, this is narrowcasting. This is where you go out and retrieve the information, not where it's screaming at you.
The people who wanted you to always be in your busyness programmed you to be in busyness,
right,
so you couldn't have time
right,
to see
what's
what
really
they were actually doing to you.
Or doing behind the scenes. Okay,
right.
Now you can look.
People are saying, yes, there's all kinds of sources out there where there's no fake news. People go out there and they find some of these sources for the first time and they find out, oh my God, they're doing that. They're doing that because of this. I can't believe that.
That's been going on for how long?
Decades.
Yeah, stuff like that, you guys. So you start looking into it. It's not meant to scare you, you guys. It's not. It's meant to awaken you. It's meant to show you the truth. Don't let the truth scare you. Although you've been programmed to have that, whenever you see the truth or have the truth happen, where it's supposed to scare you. The way you've been programmed. The truth is scary. Oh my God. It's a bunch of BS. All right. The truth is the truth. It's not anything more than the truth. Okay. But what you've been living by, because you were so busy and didn't have time, and oh my God, is it's an unconscious life. And it was taking us down the wrong road. If enough of us wake up, I am so adamant about this. If enough of us wake up, the things that are set up for us they'll never be able to pull it off. Not ever. Right. Never, never, never. Because if you see what's really going on, you won't buy into it. I mean, buy into it. I mean, with your money. That's how you vote.
That's the way you stop them.
That's how the only power you have. You could protest, you could do everything. It doesn't do a damn bit of good. Your biggest and most effective protest is to not buy what they're selling. All right. Wise up to what's going on. Thin down your life. So not only can you breathe, that you can afford to live. You don't need all this stuff.
All the stuff that you were what they call being a stuff manager, all the stuff that you ended up managing, you were all programmed to buy that stuff.
Yeah, and the pain of having your life run you caused you to go out and you felt like you were taking care of yourself when you went out and bought more stuff because you were in pain. I mean, I'll go shopping. It makes me feel better, or something like that. What else?
A new car make me happy.
What else do we have here, Ray?
They're all giving you big hearts. Yep.
That's it, you guys. So
the only way you can stop them is to be non-compliant, and the best way to be non-compliant is stop buying everything.
Stop buying anything you don't absolutely, completely have to have.
Right.
All right.
Groceries.
And you guys, it's the only thing that works. You've never seen it because you never had enough time to take the breath you needed to see what the heck's going on out there, so you could make better decisions about your life. You see me pushing them back? Push back. No more. I'm not buying a new car. I'm not buying another house. In fact, I'm selling this stuff. I don't need all this stuff. I need one car. I don't need 3 cars. I don't need all this stuff.
I don't need 3 houses and 5
I don't
cars.
need all these vacations if I'm not running from my life.
Right.
Okay? Because my life is literally killing me. Okay, stuff like that. So
you know what people do when they come back from vacation? They start planning the next vacation.
And you know what keeps them hanging on to a miserable life is anticipating the week that they get away from it. 6 months in advance.
Right.
You
right.
know, I mean, what? That's the best life that you can create. Oh my God. Oh my God. Life is way better than that. Once you wake up to what's going on we've had this opportunity to stop and breathe. Oh my God. And do your research and do your writing. Write down what's going on with you. This is reporting back to yourself. This is going to heal what hurts you, what has hurt you. You need to go back and do it, you guys. You need to write this stuff down. I'm a master at helping you with this. All right. Okay. What a gift we've been given. Would on our own, I want you guys, most of you guys on your own, would you have been able to do this for yourself, to give yourself the global pause button? Would you have been able to do it? If, like in my case, I didn't do it on my own. I got sick.
You got sick for 6 months just for putting the brakes on.
Because it was like all the bad stuff that was going on that happened I was holding my breath for so long, you know, putting up with it. It just backed up on me and it made me sick. Once I let it go, it's like it poisoned me. And then I had to clear it out, right? And heal that stuff. You guys, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. I thought I was going to get that divorce and sell those businesses and life was going to be good. Okay. Well, it was way better than had I planned it. I got knocked down on my keister from that one. Right. So I got stopped out. And I mean, on my own, I don't know if I would have been able to do it, you guys. I was addicted to running from myself. And talk about it and guided. All right. I'm going to say that I really didn't heal my life. My life really didn't come together until I was in my 50s. That's when it really started to make some sense. And I wasn't so, what's the word? Nervous about it all. You know, I mean, I grew up in a situation in my childhood that was no wonder I was nervous. And my family never supported me. They always worked against me. And then I was in these marriages that weren't good. And they turned against me. I mean, it's just nothing seemed to be, I seemed to be living on quicksand when it came to personal relationships, you know.
Then that guy from Texas showed up.
I know, this guy right here.
And I was 52 and you were 51 and a half. So it's right at that 52 stage where your life changes.
It's a massive time. 19 years old and 52 years old is mind-boggling. It moves you through stuff. It sets you on your path, even though you don't really realize it many times. So
a lot of the 19-year-old things. No, we're not going to be 19 again in this life, but at 19, you're kind of at the height of your energy, and the way you direct that energy, whatever direction you send it, you probably will be successful. I mean, if you want to go to school and become a lawyer, you become a good lawyer. If you want to become a plumber, you're going to be a good plumber. But it's the way you direct your energy at 19 years old. You want to be a musician, you're a musician.
Yeah, it's a natural impulse at that time in your life.
And then at 52.
But the problem with 19 is whatever you were programmed for from 0 to 19, you're kind of like, not many people, let me put it this way, not many people know how to step out of that program,
right,
and look at their life. There's that pause button. Look at their life and go, oh, wow, I don't want my life to go like that just because that's the way I was told it was going to be, the way it was supposed to be, you know. And look, okay, let's get off that subject. That's a whole different subject, right?
They can go to your website and look up 19 and 52. You've written blogs about that.
Yeah, I've written about both of those ages on my website. So if you have anybody who's going to be 19, anybody who's going to be 52, if you go to my website, lindadeer.com, and you click the search, just put 19 in, and it'll take you through a few posts. It'll take you to age 19, and then put in 52 for another search, and you'll see the one I wrote about, age 52. And it's pretty amazing about those 8 times in your life. But this is a time in your life You know, think about this time in your life. We have this global pause button. Your parents didn't get this global pause button. Your grandparents didn't get this global pause button, but you did. That's amazing. What a gift we've been given. So let's use it. Let's make sure that we utilize it so it can give us the course correction, the natural course correction that puts us back on our path, not the one that this world wants us to abide by, not under the pressure of having to do things instead of coming from here and doing them for the right reasons. Okay, this is time to get your life back, you guys. All right, so I'm going to announce a few things before we close the session from the guides about tonight's session. Join me on July 7th. Wait a minute.
Nope, that's today.
I knew that was wrong. We've been busy. We've been really working a lot on stuff. Okay, join me July 14th. 14. Okay, 14th. I will be streaming live on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and on my YouTube channel. Use the search term Linda Deer. This will be a Q&A and commentary for next Tuesday's Insight published in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about disclosure. Expect to be shocked, but that does not mean it's not true. We were just talking about that tonight, about doing your own research. The guides are going to talk to you about it next week, all right? What happened right now in the world, what is happening right now in the world is not something people wanted or even expected. The situation with the virus pandemic has destroyed economies and lives. What actions were really needed to safeguard people from each other? The fact that it has been so radical, causing so much fear and confusion, nobody knows who or what to believe anymore. That's where that research comes in. Disclosure about what's happening now didn't just happen, didn't just start happening. It's been going on for decades while we've all been busied up, chasing our tails, surviving, missing what's been really going on, okay? Yep. Okay, get started with Linda's Weekly Guided Insights delivered to your email box every Tuesday. Sign up and look for the description. Look in the description of this video for the link to sign up. It's free. All right. And training with Linda, one-on-one training with Linda Deer and her guided journal writing system. Look for the link in the description of this video. You'll see the link there where you guys can go check that out. Get the replay of our webinar from June 27th entitled A Message from the Light Beings. The second wave of fear and confusion is coming. That was really a covert session. It's not the kind of things that they talk about in open forums like this. So if you want to know what's coming, you guys sign up for that. And you will find the link to get there in the description of this video. And then this Saturday, July 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be reading from chapter 12 of Guided.
We have a comment here that says, I love listening to you read from Guided on Saturdays.
Now, who says this?
Nancy.
Okay,
Nancy
great, Nancy. Yep,
I love listening to her read too. It's like getting a bedtime story.
Okay. Okay, so this Thursday, you guys, we have a group called Ask the Universal Channel. This Thursday, July 9th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Join us on our Facebook private group, Ask the Universal Channel. The teachers of Ask the Universal Channel will perform the following. Veronica's Spirit Guides will explain why unclear communication in channeling and with others actually helps with learning. Kathy's Spirit Guides will talk about knowing more about people's reasoning for doing things than they do. And Joy's Spirit Guides will discuss How can we serve one another at this time that will be more energetically efficient? That's interesting. Okay, this event will be hosted by Linda Deer and Ray Holly. Look for the instructions to join this private Facebook group in the description of this video. All right, so that's all the announcements for tonight and what's going on for the rest of the week. Thursday, Saturday, next Tuesday. We're busy here, all right? And we're going to do the closing message from the guides. You guys, if these sessions, if these Tuesday live events with me help you, if my books help you, if you know, all the things that I do, the webinars, everything that I do, if it helps you, share this video, tell your friends, all right? Because there's help out there. This is a perfect setup for it, where they can begin to understand what's really going on in their life and how to navigate it, all right?
And they have time to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now that you do have time, and I got news for you. You're going to have more time than you thought you were going to have. Okay, because like they said, it's going to be one open, one close, one open, a close, another open. I mean, it's going on, and there's more behind it than you think. These webinars we do, the last Saturday of each month talks about it. That's where the guides get real open with you and share with you about things that they would normally not talk about and definitely not talk about in open forums. All right.
Right.
So they're going to close the session with their closing message about the global pause button is meant to free you guys.
The great pause you are now experiencing gives you time to notice things that you didn't see before. It gives you time to examine things in depth where you didn't have time before. It gives you the opportunity to write things down and look at them on paper. The pause gives you time to remember you have free will and you can say no to anything. You can push back against anything that violates that free will. The pause gives you time to heal. It gives you all the time you need to do your own research. Take a look at your beliefs and ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? What if I was taught the wrong things? This is the only way you can stop the fear that's causing the pain. This is the only way you will be able to see the difference between fake and fact.
It comes from here, you guys. It resonates or it doesn't. The truth is the truth. When you hear the truth, if you feel loved, I don't mean the truth is always easy to take. I don't mean it's always going to be what you want to hear. But when you hear it and you know it's right, you feel it's right, and you know it's looking out for you, It's trying to help you. It's trying to set you in the right direction. You can feel it. That's what you need to learn. This is what this is all about, trusting yourself. When you can trust yourself, you've got this thing. Okay, you've got the connection. Nobody can push you around anymore. You're on your way. You are conscious and capable. You got to write it down. You got to start writing these things down. I'm here to help you with that. Check out my training on the website.
Good stuff.
We'll see you guys next week. We'll see you Thursday. We'll see you Saturday. We'll see you next week.
1 o'clock.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.